Hello fellow chemists. This is our final project video for AP Chemistry by Nima and Ethan. This video will be explaining and analyzing just a few of the chemical processes that take place in our bodies during and after we exercise. Exercising can be tough, really tough. When you exercise, you start to breathe faster, your heart rate increases, you even start to sweat and tire out. But one notable sensation is that burning feeling in your muscles. Why is that? Well, it's largely due to a chemical process known as lactic acid fermentation. Let's dive a bit deeper into the chemistry of that reaction. The chemical reaction of lactic acid fermentation can be highly complex. The simple form of the process can be written as glucose as a reactant goes to lactic acid as a product. However, there is a lot more to the process than meets the eye. To begin the long process, glucose goes through a reaction known as glycolysis. This reaction takes glucose, which is C6H12O6, and combines it with two NAD plus molecules and two ADP molecules and two phosphorus or P atoms as reactants. Then it is converted to two pyruvate molecules, two NADH molecules, two ATPs, two H2Os, and two protons or H pluses. The whole equation can be written as C6H12O6 plus 2 NAD plus 2 ADP plus 2P goes to 2 pyruvate molecules plus 2 NADH plus 2 ATP plus 2 H2O plus 2 H plus. You can see it displayed on the screen right now. Alright, let's talk about this reaction. Here, NAD plus is reduced because it gains an electron to become NADH. And because there are two of these molecules in the reaction, it is balanced by two H pluses, or protons. Now this reaction would continue down a different path with its products, but these reactions, including some metabolic processes and oxidative phosphorylation, require oxygen. This is where exercise comes in. When you exercise, there is a lack of oxygen throughout your body, hence the reason you breathe faster and the heart rate increases. Without oxygen, the fermentation process takes place. This will use two pyruvate molecules producing the glycolysis, along with the NADH and H+, to produce lactic acid, also known as lactate, while also oxidizing NADH back to NAD+, as it loses electrons. These lactic acid or lactate molecules are what gives that burning sensation in your muscles when you exercise. Here's a full diagram of the lactic acid fermentation process displayed on the screen. Here is the 2D and 3D molecular diagrams of lactic acid displayed on the screen. Endorphins are made in the pituitary gland. Beta endorphin molecules produced in the body as portions of larger propiomelanocortin or POMC molecules. The beta endorphin molecules function to relieve pain or produce pleasurable feelings and contain within their structure pentapeptides, metenkephaline and leuenkephaline. POMC is fragmented into smaller proteins such as beta-lipotropin, BLPH. This is a hormone that is continually fragmenting into peptides. In short, these polypeptides bond to neurotransmitters in the brain to reduce pain. Here's an image of the molecular structure of an example endorphin displayed on the screen right now. Well, that's all the time we have for today. In this video, we've reviewed some of the chemical applications of exercising and putting your body under stress. From explaining why you feel that terrible burning sensation to analyzing how the body balances its insulin and glucagon in order to maintain blood glucose levels during exercise, everything includes chemistry.
There are countless reactions and processes that occur as we exercise, ranging from the chemicals in our brain to ones that create changes in different muscles in the body. Let's get started. Like Ethan said, exercising is tough. Really tough. When I go out on this hour-long bike ride, the heat will be the least of my problems. Lactic acid fermentation will cause the muscles in my legs and calves to burn up. Like Ethan said, exercising can be tough. When I go on this hour-long bike ride, the heat will be the least of my problems. Lactic acid fermentation will cause the muscles in my legs to burn up. That was so bad. Like Ethan said, exercising can be tough. When I go on this hour-long bike ride, the heat will be the least of my problems. Lactic acid fermentation will cause the muscles in my calves. Like Ethan said, exercising can be tough. When I go on this hour-long bike ride, the heat will be the least of my problems. Lactic acid fermentation happening in my muscles in my calves and my legs will cause my muscles to burn up. Whew, man, was that a good workout. We're about about to wrap up this video, so we're going to talk about what happens after you exercise. After you work out, the production of endorphins begins. Endorphins are non-addictive and feel great. They reduce pain in the body coming from your intense workout. The human body, producing at least 20 types of unique endorphins, is benefited by endorphins in numerous ways. Endorphins reduce stress, increase immunity, slow aging, relieve pain, and create natural, non-addictive happiness. Now over to Ethan. We've also explored some concepts such as the Le Chatelier's principle, or molecular structure of important chemicals in the body, and that's it. Have a great rest of the year and an even better summer. Bye. Now let's shift gears, no pun intended, to another constant reaction that plays an important role in your body while exercising, or in my case, biking. Glucose is okay, I'll use this. Now let's shift gears, no pun intended. To another constant reaction that plays an important role while exercising, or in my case, biking. Glucose is especially essential while exercising because your body requires a lot of energy. Insulin is secreted in the pancreas and lowers blood glucose. Glucagon promotes glucose production. Diabetic people, for instance, cannot produce or respond to insulin sufficiently and have high blood glucose levels and is out of balance. Insulin regulates blood sugar levels and helps glucose into cells to be used for energy or storage. As muscles begin to use up stored glucose during exercise, insulin brings stored glucose from the liver to where it is needed. After exercising, insulin will bring stored glucose back to the liver and muscles for storage. While the body requires a lot of insulin for exercise, there is stored insulin in the liver and fatty cells that is not immediately available. If a person has low blood glucose levels, the alpha cells in the pancreatic islet Okay, let's just start that over. Now let's shift gears, no pun intended, to a constant reaction going on in your body while you exercise, or in my case, bike. Glucose is especially essential while exercising because your body requires a lot of energy. Glucose homeostasis is the balance of insulin and glucagon that maintains blood glucose levels. Insulin is secreted in the pancreas and lowers blood glucose. Glucagon promotes glucose production. Diabetic people, for instance, cannot produce or respond to insulin sufficiently and have high blood glucose levels and is out of balance. Insulin regulates blood sugar levels and helps glucose into cells to be used for energy or storage. As muscles begin to use up stored glucose during exercise, insulin brings stored glucose from the liver to where it is needed. After exercising, insulin will bring the glucose back to the liver and muscles for storage. While the body requires a lot of insulin for exercise, there is stored insulin in the liver and fatty cells that is not immediately available. If a person has low blood glucose levels, the alpha cells in the pancreatic islet secrete glucagon, which stimulates the liver to break down stored glycogen into glucose in a process called glycogenesis. If blood glucose is high, the beta cells will release insulin, which stimulates an excess of glucose to convert glycogen in glycogenesis and can produce glucose to fats as well. This can be seen as a macro application of the Le Chatelier's principle. If there's too much glucose or high blood glucose levels, it needs to be broken down or the body reacts to decrease glucose and vice versa. Here's the diagram of the balancing process.